3:30, I'd like to call the Ways and Means meeting May 15, 2012 to order. Mayor, if you do the roll, please.
Commissioner Collins?
Here.
Commissioner Cross?
Here.
Commissioner Berezinski?
Here.
Commissioner Engel?
Here.
Commissioner Jager?
Here.
Commissioner Longmire?
Present.
Commissioner Mahoney?
Here.
Commissioner Plummer?
Here.
Commissioner Skolnick?
He's excused.
Commissioner Snyder?
Here.
Commissioner Wilkins?
Here.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of May 3rd, 2012.
Second.
Seconded. Any corrections? All in favor of approval of the minutes, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Public comment. Anybody in the audience would like to address the Ways and Means Committee today, please come forward. Seeing none, we'll move to items for consideration. WM 12/05-63.
So moved. Second.
So moved and seconded. Questions, comments? All in favor of the motion say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. WM 12/05-64.
So moved. Second.
That's been moved and seconded. Questions? Seeing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. WM 12/05-65.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor of the motion say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. WM 12/05-66 from administration.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? Mr. Jagger?
This is about Area Link. And have they, you know, I'm not hearing any about them fulfilling a contract. So,
We've asked them to submit to us a list of all of the names that they have provided service to in Muskegon County. And we want that list prior to this public hearing.
so we should have all the
We
information.
should have all the information prior to the public hearing, yes.
Anybody else? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. WM 12/05-67 from District Court.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. That's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. WM 12/05-68 from the Sheriff.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. WM 12/05-69 from the Sheriff.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Jagger.
And what is the savings to the county? We have a,
Savings to the county?
yeah, because we're gonna reduce more people, we're gonna do it, we're gonna take it out of in-house and put it.
The cost, there's an increased cost to this. This will cost more than what we're currently doing. And that's the $94,000, so it will be an increase of $94,000.
Could I ask what why are we doing that?
Sure, Dean Rosser, County Sheriff. Yeah, the reason that we're asking to go with a medical service provider is, as over the years, as the medical demands have grown with the inmate population and the amount of staff time that it's taking to manage that whole medical component. I originally looked at possibly bringing on additional staff in-house in order to meet that demand, and that actually would have been probably more expensive to bring on 4, possibly 4.5 more positions to meet the hours of coverage that we feel we need to meet. And as of the 1st of October, currently it's the corrections officers, the line officers that actually pass the inmate medication. A couple times a day. And they're sometimes, depending on who's in the population and what medical needs are out there, that can be somewhat dicey in terms of a risk management function, as well as, again, time consuming on the corrections staff. And so in the contract with the officers, we've agreed that that really is a function they should be performing. So we needed to bring in people that are able to do that, hence one of the needs to potentially increase our medical staff. So it's this is costing us more, but it's not going to cost us as much more as if we would have brought our own county staff in to beef up the staff complement. Does that make sense?
I actually think it probably does.
Okay. Well, that's-
But are we gonna have to lay people off because we're bringing in?
There are going to be layoff notices issued to the three nursing staff and the one medical clerk. I'm hoping that there are other nursing positions within the county that we can look at to move some people into. And then I'll be coming back probably in a couple months, well, before the one layoff takes effect. I have a community corrections position still open that I want to be able to shift the clerk to, so she has a position. And then, I don't want to get to it now, the county clerk and I are actually looking at sharing a position for next budget year, but we'll come back with those details. So the net effect is 4 layoffs. I believe I can absorb one of those, and I'm hoping that some nursing positions can, within the county structure, can offset some of those.
You take from the lowest, the least amount of seniority higher. I mean, if people have been here a long time, they're gonna be able to stay, or don't it work that way? It's really almost the whole thing is gonna go.
Are they going to be able to stay in terms of?
Well, I mean, are we taking the lowest and laying them off, or we?
Well, we're eliminating our medical staff, our medical department, basically. So all medical staff are being laid off. So it's not going to be based on seniority. It's going to be based on the fact that that job function is no longer going to be within the sheriff. One of the requirements of the vendor was to potentially hire our displaced staff onto their roles.
Yeah, I see it's out of state, so that's probably what they're gonna have to do is hire locals to do it anyway, right?
Yeah, the headquarters is out of state, but this particular vendor has at least 7 jails in Michigan, including everybody around us: Nuevo, Kent, Allegan, Saginaw.
But it takes a full-time, it kind of takes a full-time staff to a certain amount
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Plummer?
Do they have an office in Michigan anyplace, or that they operate out of?
They do, because their regional office is in Michigan, because they have so many jails in Michigan. They have a definite and consistent presence in Michigan, right?
I don't like getting rid of people, but
I tell you, I agonize over this, but
I
in
understand.
terms of what we're dealing with and the risk management concerns on the passing of medication and the tracking of medication, and looking at the whole big picture, I truly believe this is a step that we need to take.
Mr. Berezinski?
In knowing some of the past, I really think this has to shrink our exposure to liability.
I believe it will. I mean, I can't give you a definitive dollar amount or anything like that, but I think it helps protect us in the future if situations occur, yes.
I'm just curious, like, where does the 94,000 come from then? You have-
94,000 comes from some current positions I have open. You're gonna tell me.
Were the increase?
Some savings savings as far as economy of scale that we've realized over operations. Salary savings, basically.
Jim wants to take that out of the jail.
Now,
But I do want to say, this doesn't include the cost of drugs.
this does not, however, there is a potential with this vendor because of their buying strength, because of having X number of other jails. If I can get you the number of jails they service, but they bring some strength with them in terms of buying power, purchasing power for drugs and other supplies.
You said our bill 60,000 plus,
About 72,000.
just for drugs.
Yeah, that is a separate line item in the budget, yes.
Thank you, Sheriff. All in favor of the motion, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. That motion carries. WM 12/05-70 from the sheriff.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Commissioner Jagger.
Third highest bidder, I guess. Reason?
The reason is the lowest bidder didn't meet hardly any of the qualifications. The second to the lowest bidder, their staff did not attend the complete training that was required before we went out for bids and accepted proposals. And this bidder, Ms. Sadler, brings a lot of good references. She's familiar with the program that we want to implement. In fact, she's one of the people who developed the curriculum and actually taught the training. And she comes highly recommended from the people that we talked with about who should instruct the program in the jail. Keep in mind now, there's another component that will be coming to you. That's a community-based component that other agencies, again, will have an opportunity to bid for. This is strictly an in-house program.
The second lowest bidder, I mean, what, if they didn't follow the criteria, were they notified they were supposed to get other training before they could bid on it or whatever? I just have a hard time, you got 2 qualified bidders in Muskegon County there right now. You say that they didn't complete their training or something, that's why they weren't qualified?
Yeah, you're talking about Catholic Charities here?
No.
Public
You said the public
Protection.
protection, transitional, whatever it is, you said they didn't complete their,
Their proposal that they submitted did not meet the specifications, the specs. And you're asking if they were notified of that?
yeah.
I did not specifically. I don't know if purchasing did. I will check.
I appreciate it. I mean, I just,
They also didn't provide any references.
Can I have her speak? She was one of the reviewers of all the proposals, so.
The public
Protection.
public protection also did not provide any references, so that was another issue. And with Catholic Charities, as I understand it, all of the potential bidders were told that they were to attend the training prior to the submission of the bid, and they left. So,
I wasn't worried about Catholic Charities, thank you.
you know.
Well, they're in Grand Rapids, so.
But public protection transitional, the references were inadequate. In addition, if I remember correctly, that was the other thing. They did not use the curriculum as part of their attachments. They devised their own forms that didn't conform to any Department of Corrections qualifications. They devised their own curriculum that didn't specify to the Department of Correction qualifications. And we also had another bidder who was the high bidder that did the same thing.
And if that's the case, in the future, why would you even have them up there if they didn't follow the rules? They shouldn't even be listed up there, and it'd make my decision a lot easier. Just my opinion.
The reason that they're up there is because those were the ones that were evaluated, and we don't know that they haven't done that until we evaluate them. And so in the evaluation is when we evaluate whether they have met the specifications.
But then wouldn't you on there also put they didn't qualify?
Sometimes it does say that, and I would
Here it doesn't,
recommend, yeah.
But I mean, in the
fire
future,
department,
if you just put
yeah.
down they don't qualify, then none of these
Right.
questions would have been asked today. It would have been
Right.
kind of like a no-brainer.
Exactly.
So.
Thank you.
And so the far column should indicate that. You're right.
Mr. Jagger.
My question would be, a $50,000 job, them are probably low level, so it's a pretty low level company. And maybe they just don't have the training, but we're not even giving them a chance to get in line so that they can bid these kind of jobs through the county, which is kind of bad too. I mean, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but like my company's very small, so it's hard for me to know everything the federal government wants when I do a federal contract, so I could get eliminated every time, but they overlook a lot. They sit down and work with us to make sure that our bid is good.
We would, I mean, when we send out an RFP, there's opportunity for anyone to contact us and go over the specs and answer any questions, and we would answer any questions they would have. I mean, the RFP should list the specifications, and anyone who responds to that, if they don't understand that, we are available to explain what those specifications are.
The other issue with that particular bid was that they did attend, this particular company did attend training. So they were given at the training the forms to use, the curriculum to use, and for whatever reason, they chose to do something different when the bid specs were very clear that this is what we were supposed to use because it's the Michigan Department of Corrections program.
Anyone else?
When were they given that information?
When they attended the training.
Training.
When they attended the training.
And was that the session where they left and knew that they had to take it and didn't take it?
No.
We're talking two different.
One left and one stayed. The money, the reason they have to follow that is because this money comes from the state. This isn't local money, this is state money. And we have to follow, in order to receive this money, we have to follow the requirements of the state for them to give us this money. So the state has put together a curriculum and put together forms that says, if you want to receive this money, your provider will follow this. And so they chose not to. Why they did that, we don't know. We gave them, and we're very clear on informing them of that. They chose not to, and we don't want to pay for it locally, we want the state to pay for it. So that's why that was a specification.
Any other comment? All in favor of the motion, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. That motion carries. 2112-05-71 from Finance and Management.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Questions?
I guess my question would be, the year. The original thing we got said it was going to be .0157, and now the new one we got is .0419.
Take your responsibility.
Pete Campbell, Director of Finance and Management Services. The second version, which was in, those are updated. The reason why the numbers are different is because we went based on what we believed to be the numbers at the time. We didn't get the state analysis as to the actual liquor and cigarette tax information until, when did we get that, Dan? You remember a day or two?
Late last week?
Yeah, it was real late, maybe Friday. And so once we got it, we wanted to make sure we revised it based on the actual, not what we were estimating.
And this will be equal to the $1 million and the 10,000 is, there was $1 million for the alcohol and 10,000 or something for the.
It went up.
1,090,000 and 12,000. That's all right, second page.
I'll show you here, look to the page, it looks like this with the values on it, up and down. Or, sorry, let me see that up here. That one. I don't know if that's much better for people in the public, but if you look to the very, very bottom, the number that changed is the actual, the value number that we're calculating it against to come up with the actual ratio, the actual fraction that we used to apply in our calculation. You see we're on the far left side there, down the bottom. Yep, you got it.
The top number, what this would raise.
Yeah, because how it works across the whole, you have to understand the actual formula, way I understand it. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if you flip to the very, very last page, the actual L4029. which is, oh, right there, is, as you can see from the actual millage, the 2011 millage column, and the actual board review column, which is the BTR 2012. Now, keep in mind, just because the actual allocated taxable levy is higher than the 11, I don't want you to think we can bump it up to that amount, because we can't. That's what, obviously with our Headley amendment, we cannot. But however, in regards to the calculation for the liquor and tax revenues, because since they're coming in higher than expected, we have that reduction fraction that does apply. And once you see that CLCTR column, once you apply that against the actual millage, you'll see all the way to the far right, the actual 2012 millage with the hearing, which that's what we're asking for in this motion, is to set up the necessary public hearing schedule, is equal to what our 2011 is. If without the hearing, just to the left, the adjusted, I'm sorry, to the right, no, sorry, to the left of that, the difference with the 2012 adjusted BTR is at 5.6565, which is just what, a 0.04 of a mil, 0.04 of a mil difference. But however, since we are collecting more revenue, that's what this this process is all about. Is for us to have the public hearing, for us to protect our taxable value and our actual what we actually levy. So if we did nothing, for example, and we rolled back, we're going to roll back to the 5.6565, which would be a reduction in revenue of about close to $200,000. Okay, it's about 180, but I'm just rounding up. And the reason why that becomes a little dangerous for us is even $180,000 is a hit. And once you roll back, there's no rolling forward. If you go down to the 0.6565, you're not going above that ever again, unless they change the state law in Michigan. That's why, one, we're recommending you guys set up a public hearing to keep it at the 5.6984, which is again what we are currently levying in the current tax year. But the whole reason why this whole process is kick-started is because the liquor and cigarette tax revenue is higher than expected. So we have to have consideration for those additional revenues.
The allotted millage for the county is 5, I thought it was 6.
Originally,
it's been reduced,
right,
through Headley,
right,
through Truth and Taxation.
That's correct.
Okay.
As, like, for example, 2009, when you guys had a good year in taxable value, we actually had to roll back.
Even if we did an election for the Headley piece of it, it's still not going to increase more than the 5, what it is today.
That's correct.
All you can do is close the gap for a short time.
That's correct. You got it.
Any other comment? Mr. Snyder?
Is the liquor and cigarette tax revenue the total amount, or does that include the half that we remit to LCC and get it back again?
No, that's a good question. Actually, I wrote that down in case anyone asked it. So, but yes, 50% of the revenue actually comes into the general fund. Right. The other 50% goes towards the county substance abuse programming, right, which I even broke that down further. The lion's share of it, approximate number is $275,000 goes to the public health department, right, and the other balance goes to district court probation. But it's just for the substance abuse programming. But no, none of this goes to the Lakeshore Court and Council.
Well, it does, but it comes.
It does, but it comes back.
That's
a weird.
I wondered if, it was a curiosity question more than anything else to determine whether the figure because interestingly enough, the liquor and cigarette tax revenue has been going up every year for the last 4 or 5 years.
Or partying.
Yeah.
Thank you. Distribution of those dollars, that's all prescribed by the state, or do we make that have any choice in that?
You know, I'd have to get back with you on that. I'm not 100% sure on that. I can get back with you on that.
Any other questions?
I really don't care. I think it's, don't waste your time.
Yeah, my guess it is described by the state, but again, I'm not 100% certain on that. But I'll make sure I email you on that.
It is, we have to file we
Yeah,
actually
it
file a
is.
report
Right.
with,
It is
through the
prescribed by the
LCC as
state.
to the allocation and how it's used. You have to justify its use.
But can we amend the use of that?
Yes, as long as it satisfies the requirements for the allocation that the state gives to the liquor, to the Lakeshore Coordinating Council.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to know.
Good try.
Any other questions? All in favor of the motion, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. Motion
No.
carries. One no. Old business. Any old business? Any new business? Mr. Cross?
First of all, I'd like to ask that we could cancel the community development strategic planning on Thursday due to we have nothing on the agenda. That would be all right.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of canceling the meeting on Thursday? Say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
No.
One no.
And then,
You come in early.
secondly, I would like to ask if we could get a plaque or some type of resolution possibly for Muskegon High School and showing their accomplishments and their musical productions that they just, they placed 1 of 10 out of the whole entire country. And they're gonna have an NBC production coming up. I mean, they're going to, it's pretty big. It's gonna be nationally televised and whatnot. And, I mean, I think it's an honor for them to.
So moved.
Second. That's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on that? All in favor of that motion, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. That motion carries.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may, just on your cancellation, when I look on the calendar, there's no transportation meeting that day either.
There is.
Not on,
There is.
I'm looking on the calendar and I don't see it.
In fact, the agenda is out for the transportation.
I'm just looking at this
You know,
one.
right, Bob?
Yeah, I was in the wrong year the last
No, I'm in the
time.
right one, all right.
You are. It says and, you just, it's invisible ink.
Well,
We'll update your calendar.
pardon me?
We'll update your calendar.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
The agenda's on.
Any other new business, Mr. Longmire?
Yes,
Wonderful.
I just got some good news that Waypoint Academy, their testing scores have improved tremendously within this year. I'd just like to pass a resolution and even have some of their representatives from the school come in and talk about the, and we could do this at our next school board meeting, that would be good. How they increase their math scores, their science scores, and all of that, and preparing some of these kids for colleges. Because given the news that I read in the Chronicle, that 86% of our students in the county aren't college ready. I mean, any good news from any school in this county is good news like that.
So,
Second.
that's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor of the motion, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Mr. Berezinski.
Whereas the board would consider a resolution for Oak Ridge Public Schools. They've applied for a $2 million Kellogg Foundation grant, and it's in conjunction with Grand Valley for a school-based nurse-managed health program. They're also working with our health department on this, and they're in that, we could use Judy Kell, we're in that grant application, but one thing they want is show that there's community support for that.
So moved. Second. That's been moved and seconded. Questions?
Do they just need a letter of support, Jim?
Yes, on our letterhead that we support this as a board, and I would very much to Tom Lindsay, the superintendent, Ken, they've been working with Ken on this.
Okay.
It's nurse-based.
All in favor of that motion, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. That motion carries.
Did we send Mrs. Skolnick anything from our power fund?
No, I have not.
She's still in the
Mail.
mail, brother?
My
Yeah, but
understanding
I-
is it's just a check.
It's checkup type
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah, it's not a.
Invitation.
Okay.
Sorry. Any other new business? Public comment on a new topic. Anybody out in the audience would like to address this, please come forward. See, none, I'll take an entertainment to Karen.
Always, we go into closed session, to discuss litigation pending.
So move the second to go into closed session for pending litigation.
That means we have to leave.
Not you.
Stuff they get to